All right, guys, welcome back. Got a special guest today, nutrition coach, old friend, dietitian in the training, Brandon Haralson. I wish I knew your middle name. Welcome to the show, buddy. Glad you're on.
thank you. Good to be here.
All right, well, just jump right into it. It's hard to discuss obese people, big boned, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So let's just start off. We meet someone who's kind of big boned, but they're not interested in working out. Do you immediately lose hope?
That's such a loaded question. I don't know. That's hard. That's literally hard. It's like I, I think it starts with there's so many places that it can start with. You can go from just the way that we subsidize monocropping in the US with corn and wheat and all these different types of grains and farming that we do, which goes into like all of our food and then just what's in the grocery stores and the quality of stuff. And how we kind of like made cereal super popular and all these sugary foods and how it's just like it's like the culture. Like a lot of I feel like a lot of these issues that we kind of come across, like whether a president is trying to fix them or whoever's trying to fix them, it's like it's a culture issue where it's like there's just a culture of like overindulgence. Like everybody knows Americans to be greedy. Like even when you go with serving sizes in like different countries, like Americans typically want more than they'll eat because they always want more, rather than like somewhere in like I think it's like Japan, they do like very moderate serving sizes, or even like in Europe. But it's like it even starts there. Just because sometimes it's kind of like this thing where when you like buy a car and you see that car everywhere, it's
Yeah.
like it's like when you start to look, it's like you hear somebody say like, oh, over obesity or obesity is like the leading cause or like the leading health issue in America or whatever. It's like, okay, let me actually look for people that look overweight like every day. And you'll find like at least like 15 people. I kid you not. Like everywhere. Like you go to a Walmart and it's like, Jesus Christ. And not even to be like judgy, but it's like it's such a normal thing that it's like you see an overweight mom and then the kid even looks a little overweight for their age and they're like 6. And it's like, okay,
Mhm.
what are they eating? What are you feeding them? What food is available to them? All these different things. So it's like, yeah, I think the hardest thing to get somebody to do this overweight is exercise because that sounds like tell somebody to go wash the dishes. It's like, dude, I don't feel like doing that right now. Like, why would I? There's no dishes in this thing. I don't feel like washing those dishes, dude. But at the same time, it's like exercise, even just like zone two cardio, which is just like an hour of like moderate cardio of like walking in a park, is like paramount to like good health. Like it's like a game changer. Like even if you
So
could just walk around the park every day, you know.
so do you think cuz it doesn't just come in one day. You don't just become obese. So when
No,
you reach the level of obesity, is it better to tell someone it's okay for you to do this walk or you can have a moderate exercise, or should you like hammer down that you need intense workout training, like something, right now that sounds scary to you?
I think one of the largest things with coaching people and with people that look to improve themselves in certain ways is that a lot of people have the habit of biting off more than they can chew. So they don't have one the self discipline to take small steps, but two, they also want instant gratification. And it's like there's just like this of like this is the guy that wants to like he's the scrawny guy that wants to be huge, right? And then this is like the overweight person that wants to be skinny, or reluctantly wants to be skinny. And it's like they're wanting to do it the same way, which is overnight or in a week or something with like this insane David Goggins like training where they're going to the gym uh, with like trash bags on and trying to sweat their whole skin off. But it's like, dude, like small bites, like 5 minute daily action, like, okay, I'm going to walk for 20 minutes today, like, okay, I'm going to walk for 15 minutes today. Okay, I'm going to like go to the gym and I don't know, get on a treadmill or go to the gym and just do something in there, even if it doesn't work for 30 minutes, And it's hard to like get somebody to see 3 years down the line when you weigh 120, 200 pounds less. But it's like that's part of the coaching aspect in this situation is that you have to keep egging them on, keep pushing them, keep instilling motivation and inspiration and belief in themselves in order to kind of achieve that. Because it's so hard to just be like, okay, like, we're going to go to the gym and do some insane exercise you've never done in your life. And then it's like they're trusting you to get them skinny or get them fit or even get them not overweight. And it's like they're going to burn out super quick with that type of approach. But it's like, I feel like that's so many people's approach to changing in life, even if it's like something other than, weight loss, which I mean, yeah, weight loss is huge, but it's like, it's just always such and that even goes into like social media and stuff. Like we always have this, or even like everything in America is instant gratification, like Uber, internet, something goes, if your internet is like, if you have 5G and you go down to like 4G LTE and it takes 20 seconds longer for this website to load, it's like the end of the world. It's like, dude, why is this shit not loading? But it's like, you know,
Yeah.
everything needs to be instant. And if it's not, it's unbearable.
Where I'm struggling, or where I struggle, is trying to comprehend, or the mindset of getting burnt out. Because like, me, at least from afar. If I'm not running, I'm working out. I'm doing something. Like
Yeah.
I love it, and I just don't get the premise of feeling burnt out or feeling like scared. Like, can you help me understand? Like, what do these people feel?
Well, I'm like the spokesman for like overweight people. But it's crazy. It's like, it's one of those things where, let's say, every time you have an argument, you, okay, let's say as a kid, right? Your parents yell at you all the time. You feel like you're never heard. They don't listen to you. So you feel like, damn, like I always have a point to prove. I always have this chip on my shoulder. So you get in a relationship. You get confronted with arguments and blah blah blah. And you do this thing where whenever they're proving their point, you're not listening to understand them. You're listening to get your point across. You're listening for reasons to rebuttal them, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, and you've been doing this, and now you're like 40 years old, right? And you're in a marriage, and she's like, either I'm divorcing you or you find a new way to communicate. And it's like your whole life you've had this same way of going about your issues. 40 years worth of like build up, which is a lot of time. And it's like now I have to like unlearn all that and then relearn how to communicate and actually listen to people. It's like super difficult. Even and it's a part of it is like how willing are you to do that? And also a part of it is like how much patience do you have? Because a lot of the time you're gonna mess up and only listen to like rebuttal rather than listening to like understand. But as long as you're consistent with that attempt, I mean, eventually it'll come. But it's like people have this whole like built up way about life. They think, okay, eating this food is good. As long as the food tastes good, I don't care what it is. It's like if you're a minority and you live in a certain, like even where I live on Dickerson Pike, I would consider this a food desert. I mean, it's hard. I mean, there's an Aldi's 4 minutes away, but it's like certain areas, all you see are Bojangles, grocery store, convenience store, KFC, Zaxby's, grocery store, convenience store, the occasional Walmart, Dollar General. You know what I mean? There's like a Dollar General every 3 steps, and then there's an occasional 4 or 5 Subways. There's a Subway everywhere these days. It's like a mattress firm.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But like certain areas you live, they kind of deprive you of healthy options so you don't ever think about them. And as a kid, when you're developing your worldview, it's like, why do I go to a Whole Foods? That's for white people. Like, why do I need to go to Whole Foods? Like, why do I need to eat vegetables? These shit, they taste terrible. You know what I mean? Typically,
Mhm.
vegetables and other things taste terrible because they're lack of nutrients, not necessarily flavor. Um, but all that to be said, it's like when all you know is eating foods that just accumulate inflammation and fat onto you, then it's hard to just change that worldview at a given moment without some type of reluctance or some type of um I don't know the word. kind of escaping me right now. But like, I don't know. I don't think adherence is the right word, but like, you're you're just not easily going to be able to make that switch. You know, so it's like it's difficult to get someone who is overweight, and that's why we can honestly steer this to RFK because it's like I think what he's doing now, even though I there's some things I agree with RFK, some things like him making that whole ad to like demonize. I think it was like pigments and or food dyes and food or something or like red 40 or something crazy. Um, yeah, I mean, I think him demonizing certain additives in food that have a lot of downstream health effects um, can be good, in a case of making people more aware of what's in their food, but also kind of like holding a lot of these manufacturers like by the balls and being like, hey, like, we're on to you now. Like, you can't get away with this so easily. But at the same time, part of me feels like it's like right message, wrong messenger. And then it's like wrong message, wrong messenger. Because some of the stuff like like raw milk, okay, like yeah, raw milk is it depends. First of all, it depends on where you get the milk from because pasteurization kind of kills all the bacteria and all that stuff and makes milk like not kill you or whatever. But it's like pasteurization also kind of denatures the milk in a way that can potentially reduce its nutrient content. Milk is supposed to be raw milk essentially. Um, it's supposed to more easily be absorbed and it's supposed to be a probiotic in a way. But um, with a lot of ways that people raise cows, they don't raise them in clean environments. So there's millions of bacteria on the udders, on the people. All you can't see these things, so it's like you don't know they're there, but they're getting into the milk that you're then selling to somebody that just bought it from your farm. And you're like, oh, this is raw milk, and that's why there's like this dilemma of like, what's the benefit of raw milk versus the risk of like infection, you know? And it's like something I think a lot of people overlook because I think a lot of issues don't really they're not nuanced. They're kind of like sound bites, and it's like who can make the most like sound bite ish claims or points to be made versus who can actually get to the science and have like a reasonable, decision about these things. But all that to be said, it's like I think the way he's going about attacking these large food umbrellas who have had a large hand in the way that you know obesity has become so crazy in America that it takes someone like that. I think even Michelle Obama had the right message, but was the wrong messenger because I don't think her way of doing things was intense enough. I think as like I think your question was kind of like a microcosm of the big issue of like the fat person is America, and you need somebody who's intense and pushing to push that person into a different type of culture. But on a small scale, yeah, you have to be kind of gentle with them. But on the large scale, I think democracy is super slow. And if you want to get anything done in that area when there's so much money involved, you have to kind of like really be super, you have to go out and just make a bunch of claims and do things like that kind of push the envelope to change the way like food is looked at in this country as a means of like lowering this rate of overweightness and or obesity even that's so like normalized in America that it's like it takes that. You can't do it any softer than that. If it was Michelle Obama, she would have been more successful. I think because there was a I think because the conservatives at the time were very anti-Obama and anything related to him that it wasn't going to work regardless. But I do think though that she was the first, one of the first, and RFK is taking what she's doing and kind of upping the ante by a lot, you know. And he's kind
So
of trying to go on.
no, I was just gonna add in. So are you do you believe that food has a bigger effect on the way we look than actual exercise?
Yes, I think because even in this, let's say you want to get stronger, right? You want to gain weight. First of all, a lot of people's issues in the gym isn't even usually the gym. you don't even eat enough protein. I mean, protein is looked at as this thing that's so synonymous with exercise and protein shakes and recovery. But protein is literally like everything. Like protein is like one of the protein is to me at least the most important next to fat. Well, it's hard to kind of like rank them, but I think protein probably is the most important macronutrient in your body out of fat, carbs, proteins. I mean, proteins, you have structural proteins, which is like your hands, fingernails, hair, and you have functional proteins, which are like hormones or antibodies or all these different things that are proteins. So it's like you can only get so many amino acids, which is why you have essential and non-essential amino acids. You can only get so many in your body. So if you're 180 and you're not eating enough protein to sustain that 180 pounds or more, if you're trying to put on weight, it's a lot of your progress in the gym can simply come down to you just not eating enough protein, or a lot of issues in your life, body wise, can come down to you just not eating enough protein or good protein in that matter. So it's like, even just a very like rudimentary example of the person that wants to gain weight in the gym but doesn't eat enough. It's like I go to the gym every day and work out and always get a pump, but like I'm around the same weight that I was 2 months ago. It's like, well, are you eating correctly? It's like, well, I mean, I eat a couple times a day. Like, well, like, okay, let's look at what calories you're getting in and calories out, which is a whole argument. So, it was like, technically, you're really supposed to just eat more calories, and more than likely, starting out, you should gain weight. But it's like you have to eat and provide the nutrition for your body to turn what is the micro tears in your muscles to make them bigger. You have to give your body the proper nutrients in order to recover from that and bring you, because basically what's supposed to happen in the gym is you're here, work out, you go down, micro tears, you come up. This is where you were. You want to come here, and this is your new baseline. A lot of people come here, micro tears, and then they come here. And then here, micro tears, and then they're here. And then here, and then they just get a lower. You know what I mean? And then it's like, what kind of stress we put on the body? Um, why are all these things happening health wise in your body? And you go to the gym a lot, and it's like you put a lot of stress on, which is lifting weights, but you don't recover at all. You don't focus on what you're eating. I mean, your body literally has a mechanism that when you exercise, there's like, and this is debated, but there's like a 30-minute window, 30 to an hour of your cells are more open to receiving carbs. So it's like that's why carbs are a really good thing pre and post workout. Like as soon as you exercise, if you go and take like a carb supplement or like a carb powder, um, like some type of monohydrate or something, then you'll feel better afterwards. And it's like your cells open up more to receive sugar because you just worked out and they just expended a lot of sugar to help you like lift the weight. So it's like I think food in this country, and there's so many things. I mean, I think food is one of the big three, but it's like there's so many things that determine like weight and health in this country that food is one of the larger aspects. Granted, though, I do think exercise in terms of health is like pretty like important. But I would probably put exercise in my top 10, either at five or in the bottom five, like probably like six. I would say probably six, if I had to say. But in terms of getting somebody from 300 pounds to 270 or even 250, I do think exercise is necessary. Like there's depends on your means of losing weight. Some people hold weight as energy. 'Cause, I mean, it's all energy. I mean, fat is energy, but it's stored. Muscle, protein is energy. Carbs are energy. Um, but fat just means one, you have a lot of inflammation, but two, you have a lot of energy. So it's like if that's the case, it's like this person is super skinny because they have a certain thing going on in their hypothalamus, to keep it really simple, that they practice thermogenesis, which just means that you burn off fat really easily. Like me and you are like, it would take more for us to put on extra weight than it would some other guy, right? And it's like we just
Mhm.
burn fat at heat. But it's not like your body just gets hot. It's like the heat inside of your body is like the fat that's being burned off rather than Somebody that doesn't have as much of that, they eat and they're bloated the next day. And it's like, oh, and they keep eating and they're like, I put on like 10 pounds. It's like, damn, how you, you know what I mean? So it's like it comes down to so many things, whether it's like that, calories in, calories out, where you just eat less and lose weight or whatever. That's so much easier for certain people than it is others. That it's like nutrition is such a nuanced landscape, but I think it holds more weight than people give it. Because if people kind of realize how much their food affects them, they wouldn't treat it so I don't know the word. They wouldn't be just so careless about it, if that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the right way to
So
look at it.
I would okay, I'm gonna reference the manosphere,
I
where
thought
like
I've heard of that.
the Andrew Tates and the Grant Cardones and
Uh,
the Gary V's, the Jordan
the alpha
Petersons,
males.
the alphas, yeah.
The alpha males. God. That's like a whole
So they,
other view.
yeah, it
Crazy.
really is.
But
So I had my own phase in the manosphere, and it's why I know a lot about it. And now I look at it and I try to critique it more than ever. So the manosphere idea of working out is that your body is a reflection of your work ethic. It's a reflection of how well you care about yourself, and it's a reflection about how you do everything in your life. Would
yeah,
you would you follow that idea?
somewhat yes. I do think that I think I can take it to a different level. I think at surface level it's kind of rudimentary because it's like, oh, if you're fat, you don't care about your body. But oh, if you're skinny, you don't eat enough, dude. Like eat more. You know what I mean? Whatever. But it's like your body is a reflection of your interior environment, whether that's your mind, whether that's your spirit, whether that's energetic in terms of like chakras and all that type of stuff. But like it's true. It's like if a guy has like a collapsed chest all the time and he's hunched over shoulders, I mean, just when you're sad, your whole body physically changes when you're upset versus when you boast or when you feel confident. Like, oh my god, I just hit this crazy ass like chest press with this like I PR'd like get the fuck off of me. Like what do I want to do? Like I can outlift everybody in the gym, you know what I mean? And your chest is popping out of like your tank, or whatever. Versus like, oh my god, I just got broken up with today and I didn't expect that, or oh my god, like I just got evicted and I have nowhere to go. It's like there's a different type of way your body holds itself. So with that even being the case, I do think yes, that in a way, yes, that does make sense. But I think to make it that rudimentary kind of subtracts from all of the other aspects of that your body is a reflection of yourself. I don't know with what context they were saying it. I can only imagine with what with what context they were saying it. I do think that certain people have a lot of work ethic, but it isn't necessarily aesthetic. Some people have crazy work ethic and they don't even do anything that. I mean, um, Edward Snowden, the guy that like had a movie made after him. Edward Snowden, the guy that fucking leaked everything in the U.S. Like he's a pretty average Joe in terms of body, but like I'm sure his work ethic was crazy. I mean, he's a self-taught hacker that's like brilliant, And I mean, like, I'm sure that reading his body, you may think, this is just average guy. I'm sure he doesn't go to the gym or, whatever. But I think more with this question, more in an athletic space, I think it depends because you can be a guy that's literally a professional boxer, but you have the worst liver in the world. If I punch you in the liver or anywhere in that vicinity, you will go down. If I punch you hard enough, or if I keep repeatedly getting you in the liver, or you have the worst kidneys in the world because you treat your body like shit. But you wouldn't know that looking at this guy box. You would think, wow, but or you would know that just walking past him. But you see him box, he's always out of shape or always like out of breath or whatever. Like, oh, this guy's internal environment is terrible. He doesn't care about his body. But muscles wise, guy's pecs are popping off his chest, like his shoulders are in his ears. It's like, oh, this guy's huge. But it's so hard to tell these things. This is part of what I was talking about, like a nuance. Like some people just have so many sound bites that it's like yeah, that sounds right. But when you dig deeper, or you dig with a certain like perspective, like a certain type of theoretical perspective and how you intake information, it kind of it kind of goes from like this to like this, and it flattens out, and you can kind of see like it's kind of the idea if you take like Play-Doh and put it up to a light, you can like see through it if you like stretch it out enough. It's like that. Like if you stretch it out enough, you can kind of see through what they're talking about. You're like, okay, here that kind of makes sense, but in here, you know. But I think the idea of trying to motivate people, like I think it helps, but I think a larger part of that is that a lot of people just lack self discipline. Like simply, like it's hard to get people to wake up every day at the same time, or wake up every day at the same time to go do the same thing every day and be okay with the result not being perfect within the first like 10 times you do that, like you have to keep doing that and see a result 3 weeks later, it's like people don't typically, and I'm not saying people like everybody, but like a lot of people don't have that kind of reserve, and I think that's probably what the larger point was probably being made is like if your body looks like shit, you have no self-discipline, which could be true, but I think that could be made true for like a lot of people, even with good bodies, probably don't have the greatest self-discipline, you know.
No, I agree. All right, we're gonna take a break. We'll be back in 5 minutes. I don't
Macronutrients
know
is
anything, bro. All I know is gym and running. But I started when I was 11. Like,
running.
yeah, I started running when I was 11. I was doing push-ups in 6th grade in the summer with, you remember Fernando?
Yeah.
Yeah, me and him were doing push-ups. I tried out for the basketball team. I used to hoop. You remember my failed attempts. Bro, like I've always just been active, and like people tell me, and it kind of makes me mad, but people tell me like, oh, I was just born with a good body and stuff. But if I was, I've never taken it for granted, ever. I mean, ever. So that's why. I mean, I'm just.
Yeah, part of it is genetics, honestly. I mean, some people would just have genetics to have like a good, like some people have like good traps, lats, and tries. Like some people can't get their biceps to grow for shit, but like their traps are like up here all fucking day. Dude, how'd you last get so good? You know what I mean? And also part of it is you've been kind of ingrained in this like this gym bro life. Now you're really like taking it to the next level, which is I like that.
Yeah, right now. I'm trying, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I love David Goggins. I
Yeah,
freaking, especially since I'm in the military. Like his shit just makes sense to me sometimes.
yeah.
Like it just does. And when he talks about like we loathe our own lives and we just at the end of the day we use all these fancy words, but I could just phrase it in you're being a bitch. Like to me that just does it for me, bro. It just does it.
Yeah.
Like for me, but at the same time though I see its toxicity. Like I have friends that are a little bit big,
Hmm.
and do I in my mind have a toxic thought every now and then? Yeah. Am I sometimes just saddened by the lack of motivation? Yes. Like I wish they had like I just don't understand where the burning urge to get fit why isn't there? Why is it not there? Because I just to me it would be there. Well, like I lose words, bro. I lose words.
But it's a culture thing because it's like, dude, like if I have back pain every day, but at a certain point it gets manageable. I'm like, dude, I can just live with this shit. Like, yeah, my back hurts, but like, it's not like I can still go to work and pay for my like bills and stuff. So it's like if there's a culture of like we don't have to go get a Twinkie, or there's not 7 Burger Kings before there's like an Aldi's or a insert healthy option or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's normal to be fit because why wouldn't you be?
No,
But
I liked what you said about portions because I eat Burger King, but I don't get fries. I never get a soda ever. I just get a nice Whopper Junior, bro. And I just indulge. But these people, 2 Whoppers, fries, large drink. Like,
Yeah,
it's just like just relax. You know, 1 Whopper. Whopper Junior, I'd recommend. I wouldn't recommend a whole Whopper.
yeah,
But yeah, that's what you were talking when you mentioned portions earlier. I was like, yes, because I was just talking about that with a friend of mine. Like, why do you need fries? Why? It,
even in like
just
restaurants. I mean, like a sit down restaurant, it's like this is a lot of food. You know, like
yeah.
how it is. I mean, people just give you a shit, but it's kind of like what's my money's worth? Like I want my money's worth of food. You know, but it's like, what
Hmm.
do you think your money's worth of food is? You know, is it a shit ton of food for $12? Like yeah, or is it like enough food that? And that's the thing is a lot of people eat, but don't eat mindfully. Like your stomach and the stretch receptors in your stomach are slower than your brain, and not they're slower than like your thinking brain. So you don't even know you're full until it's too late. That's why like sometimes you eat too much, it's like your stomach hurts. Like fuck, I need.
Oh.
Like let's say for that Whopper, you take a bite. You're really supposed to chew like 25 times, but like let's say you chew until it's like done, and then you swallow, and you did that for the whole Whopper. You may be full off that Whopper, like legitimately. After
So
like
why is it then? Is it because we're eating from our taste buds? Like we want to
basically
keep tasting?
the idea is that like when you eat food, it goes down your like your throat into your stomach. But your stomach has like 4 layers of tissue. But there's like nerves that touch your stomach, and that's how your stomach talks to your brain. That's how your brain knows like okay, there's food in there and all that shit. But what happens is the receptors in your stomach that are connected to it, and when they stretch, because like your stomach is like this, and then it gets like this, like when you eat. Basically, when you eat, your stomach is literally doing this. So like if you eat and wait like 30ish minutes, your stomach is probably doing this, which is insane. But it's like mashing the food up because it's like you can't control it, but it's doing that. But basically, the whole idea is that that connection between your stomach and brain is super slow, intentionally though. But our that's between like your brainstem brain and like your stomach. But like your top brain that you like think with and shit, that you can be like, okay, I'm a human being. Like I know I'm alive and all that stuff. Like that's just thinking about, oh, I'm hungry. I need to eat. So like the part of your brain that's connected to your stomach is like, oh, we're getting food slowly but surely, but you're still just like, and then fucking click on YouTube and like, oh fuck, I missed that part. You know, all this stuff. Like, you're not worried about the food you're eating. So it's like you're eating food like you're breathing. Like it doesn't matter. But you're supposed to eat it like with like attention to detail, I guess. Like, okay, I'm eating, I'm chewing, whatever. But the slower you eat, the more your eating matches the rate of your stomach expanding so that your brain like knows you're full, but you're not over full. Or you're not like that's why it hurts or feels weird when your stomach is just super packed. Because it's like a difference between like the train being like you ever seen those videos of like they're like really bad, but it's like a train in India, and it's like 7 million people on the train. It's like
Yeah.
it's literally
Yeah.
it's insane. And the comments on Instagram are always like the most racist, like worst comments you can find. They're like always like I'm crazy in there, or like there's not a dealer in sight. It's like the worst shit ever. But yeah, it's like the difference between your stomach being like fat and you just ate 3 Whoppers and fries, or like your stomach being like there's a space between each passenger. Like there's a seat between each passenger. It's like okay, like we're full, but not like max capacity. You know?
Okay. This is a
Which I mean,
philosophical question.
yeah,
Okay, you ready? You know how, not you know how. This is just my theory. I think we're separating to like rich and poor, basically how the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It happens with health too. I think
yeah,
we're gonna have the healthiest, most athletic, and I see it in all sports, especially basketball, bro. The average player today, when D Rose won that MVP, bro, he'd be killing, dude. The average player today, like who's the rookie for Philadelphia? I forgot his name.
Oh,
Anyways,
Jared McCain.
Jared McCain, bro. If you put him in 2011,
Yeah,
man. Anyway, so I think the divide is just going more and more to where we have the most unhealthy versions of people and the most healthy versions of people, like the 2 hour marathon guy. Like he did that in a world of obesity. So I want to get your thoughts on that one.
I do think that that is kind of becoming. I do think that obesity is becoming more normal. I think just being normally overweight is kind of like the new, like not the new, but I feel like it's the normal like weight. Like that's like like you kind of
Yeah.
your stomach kind of rolls over your belt, but like who cares, Or like your stomach kind of pokes out in your fucking in your suit, but who cares? It's like
Yeah.
that's not supposed to
Yeah.
happen. That's not supposed to happen. But it's like that's just how it is. That's like the new dude just been like within the last like 30 years. But that's like the new like fit. Not even fit, but that's just the new like normal body. Like a dad bod. But like a worse version of a dad bod, which is like overweight.
No, because dad bods aren't necessarily unhealthy, right?
Yeah, they're not. They're like normally somewhat over fit weight. It's like you're not super fit, but you're not also like overweight. You're like in that healthy medium where it's like you probably are healthy, but you don't look super healthy. But like
Okay.
you're probably healthy, honestly. Like you probably eat, meal at 6 p.m. and the occasional going out for like terrible food, but like you're not fat. Like
Okay,
that's
so
bad. Yeah.
I want to talk about relationships now. Not
Yeah.
relationships, like how you approach whoever you find attractive. It's a podcast, so we have to keep it neutral. But so that's for us. How would you find like a big girl with a great personality? She loves you, bro. She's into you. She's gonna treat you the best way possible, but she's large.
That's so tough because big girls are super loving, which is insane. And I think it's like the love that they may or may not have for themselves, they kind of just push out to like others. But it's like
That
I
was
feel like it
good.
always comes down to preference because it's like some guys want a gym girl. Some guys get in a relationship and try to turn their girlfriend into a gym girl.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, like she's right for you, but she's probably not gonna go to the gym 4 times a week. And that's okay. Like either you take it or you leave, bro. Like it's up like that's really as simple as it is. But I think it's just preference. Some people don't care about weight. They're like, I don't see weight. Some people are like, my girl has to be like fit and like I think that's for more so the guys that do go to the gym a lot and want to surround themselves with that type of energy. So they want their girl to be like semi athletic or like, open to going to the gym or like not reluctant to go on a walk, you know, or that's eating chips all day or whatever, something like that.
No,
Something crazy.
that makes me feel toxic, seriously, because I'll be
All right.
I'll be running in the park, bro. Like today I ran 8 miles. Slow as
Yeah.
shit, but I did it. And I'm running and I see these people just leisurely walking. And again, my mind's racing. I notice that they're a little large. And I'm like, I should be walking, you should be running. And like I would never say that in real life, but like those are the things that go in my mind is like again, where is this urgency? Like where I like it's to me it's life or death. Like to me I would rather never be rich than lose my body. I'd rather always be poor. I don't know why, but I want to live till I'm 90. Like I really do.
Look,
I dream of that.
I feel that.
And
You need help
like
getting there, but like, in a good body. Like, I can really help. Like if you need help, like making the right decisions, like making sure your liver's good, making sure your gut's good, making sure like your brain, like you wake up and you're like, fuck, like I can remember what happened 3 years ago. You know what I mean? Like I can help with that. Just ask for any type of like recommendations or if you need like something vetted, like is this a good pre-workout or some shit? Do you take pre-workout?
no, I don't
Okay,
take
good.
anything.
Good.
You don't
I'll
like
send you
pre-workout?
it's 90%
Whoa, okay, talk about that. Nah, talk about that. Wait, what? That's crazy. Everybody takes pre-workout.
90% of pre-workouts are shit for your adrenals. Like look, here's the thing. Every time you this is why nutrition is so important. Every time you put something in your body, it goes straight through to your stomach. Your stomach turns it into paste. It goes through your small intestines, goes through your large intestines, comes out your ass. Right? What's happening in small intestines? Small intestines is only for absorption. So that's where all of your stuff gets absorbed. That's where like when you're eating something supposed to be healthy for you, that's where you absorb the healthy bits. You absorb a little bit in your stomach, mostly in the small intestine. Large intestines is for other stuff to be absorbed, but that's where all those like bacteria are, and they do the absorbing because they absorb food in a different way, right? So like if you take a probiotic or you say the prebiotic, which is bacteria food, that's where that's supposed to, or you eat like fiber. So let's say like oatmeal or like potato or like fucking some type of starch or whatever. That's where that's going to get mostly absorbed is in your small, large intestine. But either way, though, all that has to happen as soon as it gets out, it goes through your liver. Your liver is like your TSA. That's like it doesn't matter where you're going in the airport. If you want to get beyond the front gate, you have to go through TSA. Everything has to go through your liver. If your liver is fucking constantly like churning through alcohol and pre-workout and fucking prime energy drinks and rain energy drinks and what's another one?
Oh, rain is good. C4,
It is fucking
Celsius.
good, but it's terrible for you. It's
Um,
like abysmal for you. Like a lot
a
of them
lot.
have additives, a lot of them have heavy metals, a lot of them have like just super toxic chemicals that like are like cancer causing. But it's like it doesn't matter because you don't feel it at first. Like you don't feel it until you've taken it for like 10 years. And you're like, why the hell am I? Why do I have cancer on it? Why do I have leukemia all of a sudden? It's like, well, you know what I mean? That thing you did 5 years ago. Like, and somebody's gonna look at you crazy if you're like because you took pre workout when you were 24, you have leukemia when you're 40 or like whatever. But it's like no, like that's how it works. Like it adds up, you know. But also to be said, pre workout is most pre workouts are really bad for you. It pre workouts supplements are like those things where you have to really like research your shit because a lot of it out there is shitty for you because of money. That's really all it boils down to is money. But I would say in terms of pre workout, carbs, um, exogenous ketones, which are fat energy cells. Basically, if you don't eat for like 4 days, your body uses carbs first, and then when it runs out of carbs, it uses fats, and then when it runs out of fats, it uses muscle. So like, that's why like if somebody's like starving, their like bones are showing because your body's literally like depleting your muscles of like energy. That's like its last resort though, before you die. But ketones is like if you go on a fast for like 3 or 4 days, and then you get through like that first wave of like terrible symptoms like headaches and shit, your body starts to use fat instead of carbs. So you don't have any carbs because you use all your carbs. But you're not eating anything. So it starts to use fats and it turns them into these things called ketones. And it's like energy. But with fat, it's more energy dense than carbs. It's like the difference between a penny and like a $10 bill. It's like a $10 bill can get you a lot more stuff. But a penny is easier to grab. It's easier to obtain than a $10 bill, if that makes sense. Um, but you make those endogenously or like in your body if you just fast, um, which can be good or bad. That's like a keto diet, which is like low carb, high fat. But you can also get those exogenously or like outside of your body through like exogenous ketones, which would be like a little supplement, energy booster, mental clarity, all that stuff. Um, there's some other things you can take too that are not like hazardous, but pre-workout, a lot of
Not
them
it.
fucking terrible.
What
But a
about
lot of them,
creatine?
bro, creatine has a million benefits.
So
Some
I should
people
be
get,
taking creatine.
yeah. I mean, take creatine even in just creatine helps a lot when you're trying to gain weight like early on because it helps you retain like water weight. But there's like there's like a peak off period where like it goes up like this and it kind of like flatlines. So you can either take a lot at first or just take like a small amount consistently. But it's like either one is like I don't know how to
Okay.
like, but like they meet up at a certain point, and then it's just the same stuff. But it has a million benefits. Like creatine is one of the safest things you can take. So the big thing with the David Goggins like kind of mindset is that he kind of forsakes compassion for like a kind of like a drive mentality. Like not that you're a piece of shit if you don't care about your body, but like it lacks a level of understanding that's beyond what you know. So it's like not taking what you see at surface level as any hint of reality, but understanding that there could be more to the puzzle. But I feel like with him, he kind of epitomizes the militant way of going about doing some things. And he's like such an outlier because he's the guy running 700 miles, running 200 miles so he shits himself with his wife. That was a crazy story about him. I was like, how, what are you
That was
doing?
the
That was
he
insane.
said he pissed blood.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, the fuck, you know? But like, I mean, his mindset is stronger than I don't know, maybe anyone that I've seen, which is how he can get away with a lot of this stuff with his body. Um, but it's just different, you know. But it's like that mind state, the way he views things is so jaded sometimes that it's like it kind of robs you of a compassion for other humans, regardless of their size. Granted, yeah, of course, you're fat. I don't say it's lying, but like you're fat. I want you to be healthy. But like, maybe you got fat because you had depression because your mom died. You just ate to not be depressed because that was your only dopamine boost. And then you just
Mhm.
develop like a compulsive habit of eating that you can't stop because you're dealing with grief. So it's like there's just so much to the puzzle that sometimes it gets lost in the static. That it's like I don't want to see you go down that road of uh like you just when they're like 350 and counting. Like, dude, fucking do something with yourself. I feel like that's
Yeah.
so many people that are just like, dude, do something with yourself. It's like, yeah, but you also kind of like can't say that, 'cause that's not gonna help.
Bro, and this isn't
Make
just for
make
big
them hate
people. This is not just for big people. Like, I'll be in class, and this is where I'm getting toxic a little bit. But
themselves.
I'm like, look, people be going out, it's fine, and I'll be looking to my right, and I'll see like girls love to wear short shorts, right? So like this, like there's girls who are not fat, like they're in good shape, like by average, whatever. But I see their legs, like their thighs, and I'm like, you don't know what the gym is. Like you just look this way. And that makes me like, "Ugh!" Like, bro, do something. Like I just like and okay, this is the worst, bro. I'll be at the gym and we'll call him Brad. Brad is fucking teaching his girl how to lift. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, bro, she doesn't need your help, man. Like she let her figure this out. This is some pseudo date that is making it hard for me to get to this machine because y'all are going slow as fuck. Like
Okay.
like let the girl do what she does. She does not need your help. I would consider myself a super feminist, just maybe not mainstream. But like the girl doesn't need you, bro. And to the guys who sit on the machine and not let the other guy go and just sit on TikTok, screw you, bro. You mess up my workout. My workout gets slowed down. And this is the last point. On your fourth set, you should fail. I don't understand why I'm looking at fourth set and like is that warm up? Like what the
Yeah.
fuck am I looking at? Like those are the things that drive me crazy, bro. Like actually, I look around, I'm like, you're going slow. Like everything for me is a combo workout. I never do a single workout. Like everything is a combo, a push and a pull. So it's always that.
hmm
So and except with curls, I like to just ego maniac curls. But
This guy's fucking curling 55s, using his whole body.
uh, no, dude, I curl 25s. I do
Okay.
25s and I sit down.
Well,
I sit down. I don't move. Like to me, I fail when my form fails. Like I'll like fourth set. I always go until I can't, but I don't go until I can't push it. I go until my form breaks because I'm not trying to injure myself.
yeah,
And
that's a good way to go.
yeah, I mean, it's just how it's Coach V, bro. Coach V.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, what's his face? So I'm doing my combo set, and I'm starting my next set of the combo before this guy even starts his second set that he's been chilling on his phone. And then I'm like, you don't deserve that body that you're trying to get right now, bro. And that's where I'm at.
I feel that though. You feel like your work isn't being matched, and these people are cheating their way to their success because they're not earning it. They're
No, no,
bullshitting.
no. Like I'm eating peanut butter, dog. I'm just eating peanut butter at the jar. I'm like that.
How much are you eating, by the way?
I eat about I barely break 2,000 calories a day.
Okay, I meant peanut butter. How much peanut butter are you eating?
Oh,
How many forkfuls are you taking in a day
about 10.
each? I kind of trim that down to like 6.
Is
You want
that
to watch
bad for real?
watch your fat levels. Yeah, peanut butter has a lot of fat.
Bro,
You don't
it
want to
says
take in you don't
for
want to take
real?
in too much fat.
It
Yeah,
does have a lot of fat. Holy fuck.
yeah.
It has
You
a
don't want
fuck ton of fat.
to. You don't want to do too much, man. I've been there. I've been the guy that ate 4 slices of peanut butter toast and 2 bananas and fucking cinnamon on top for dinner, and I was like, this is amazing, with like a shit ton of peanut butter on it. And I'm like, low key though, this is not good for me.
So just because someone has a low like body fat percentage doesn't mean you should try to take in more fat.
No, body fat, no. There's really like, dude, in uh, I haven't reviewed it in a while, but this one right here taught me like I can't find the number two. This is number two. This is like all the shit with like all the science and like calories and fucking like macronutrients, all that bullshit. This right here though made it all practical. But it was telling me like how you group people based on body fat, and that certain percentages of like single digit body fat are so insane that it's like only bodybuilders and like bodybuilders, yeah, and powerlifters, bodybuilders really are the only ones that need to be at that body, and they only do that for like 3 months. Like you're not supposed to just exist there. That's fucking unhealthy as hell. But it's like, you shouldn't be like I can pick your skin like off of you. Like you have such low body fat that you look like if I cut you with like a pencil, I would be touching your muscle. Like that shouldn't be that fat. You know what I mean? But it's like maybe like somewhere between 12 and 10. Like 12, 9, 10 is like where you want to be, like normally, but still like
Okay.
strong, not like
Yeah.
fucking like 5. That's like that's insane. That's like somebody you should only be doing that for like a season, and then if that, like, don't stay there forever. You're gonna die. You know what I mean? Like that's extremely unhealthy. That's like just hella dehydrated. Which
So do you see the state? Because I know what the CDC says, like 50% of people are going to be obese by 2030.
mm,
Do you see any chance that doesn't happen? Do you see RFK making waves?
it depends though, dude. Because I wish I had. There's a book you should get. It's called fuck, I forgot what it's called, but basically it's what RFK is trying to do right now. He's trying to decentralize medicine, which and this is the problem with a lot of liberals is that they hate him, but they don't understand what's going on. A lot of it is sound bites. A lot of liberal thinking in terms of like a liberal is like a lot of big authority, like big government, big pharma, CDC, COVID. Of course, why shouldn't the CDC know what they're talking about? The HW or WHO, the World Health Organization, all that stuff. It's like these large conglomerates of health information and health, all this stuff. It's like, yeah, they should know what they're talking about, but at the same time, when you trust them too much, like an appeal to authority, which I think a lot of liberals have, a lot of young liberals too, like college age liberals, I think there is a lack of ability to have like smaller encampments of doctors and researchers have the flexibility to like challenge that and be like, well, I don't know if taking this vaccine is the best opinion. Like, I do think though, if COVID, like, if the general health of this U.S. was like better, I don't think COVID would have been as crazy. But I do know that some of the thinking because of COVID was like super infectious, but also like a shit ton of people are unhealthy, and like people are predisposed to fucking heart attacks by the time they're like 35. Like, I think 1 in 3 people are have a heart attack in the U.S. over the age of like 45. I don't think that's the stat, but it's something extremely close to that. And I was just like, that's insane. Like, it's like it's like 1 out of 4, 1 out of 3, 1 out of 2. It's like a lot of people. And it's like, unless RFK can start a wave of decentralizing medicine to make it less broad top and everybody underneath, but like here, 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 kind of like a libertarian way of medicine, I guess. It's hard to like stop that curve because culture is hard to change. I mean, I think technically yes. If nothing changes, I think it'll happen. Yes, that's my short answer is yes. If nothing happens, I do think yes, it will happen.
So you think America has a fattening culture?
Yes, it's gluttonous. It's all gluttonous. Whether it's money, whether it's food, whether it's like men with who want a lot of women or who want to do a lot of drugs or Who just want a lot of like or consumerism, like people that go on Amazon just buy a bunch of things for no reason. It's like, yeah, I have a water bottle,
Yeah.
but what about this water bottle? Or yeah, I got a lamp, but like, look at this new lamp that just came out. It's like, dude, you have a lamp, it works. Use it. Like, use it for a few years. Like, you have these new lamp every year. Like, fucking Black Friday is like 2 days from now. Cyber Monday is literally next Monday. Like,
Yeah, and Black Friday is the day after Thanksgiving.
yeah,
I never understood that. I never.
after we're giving thanks and having, but like, it's a setup for Christmas. It's like you have to have the day where everybody can go Christmas shopping before Christmas, and like now everybody has Christmas presents. You know.
Nah, I've actually never thought of that. It's the setup for Christmas. Okay.
It
Nah, I
is,
never thought of
honestly.
that.
That's where you get the TV and the doll Sally's been wanting all year, but now it's 35% off. You know, and it's fucking like,
Yeah. I'm gonna get me those Air Maxes, those AirPod Air Max Pros, whatever.
the
What
one
are
with
they
the
called?
noise canceling. The ones.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what they're called, but I want them.
If you're asking me as the health consultant, that's super like no microplastics, that kind of guy. Like don't drink out of a plastic water bottle kind of guy. Even though I literally have one like right here, and I'm kind of being like ignorant. I would say don't use Bluetooth headphones because Bluetooth can like kind of fuck your brain. But
What?
it's debated on how much of an effect it has. It's called non-native EMF. It's a lot of like electromagnetic frequencies that technology gives off, like that microphone or headphones, phone, Wi-Fi router, blah blah blah. You know,
That's
basically,
interesting.
it's like shooting the stuff through your ears into your brain, and can. Some people say it's really harmful. Some people are like, I'm a researcher and I'm a scientist, and y'all are just making this shit up. There's a lot of boring debates in health, but personally, I would just use wired headphones like we're using now and just call it a day, or just get a vest. See a lot of people. I'm gonna get a vest for running. Just put your phone right here. Wired headphones go like right here to up. They're not all like all in the way and shit. And you know, make it easy. Make it easy on yourself.
All right.
I'm gonna get like a
Okay.
nice little 5 pound vest or something.
I want to wrap this up. Do you have any lasting thoughts? Anything you need to get out?
Yeah, I think that people should eat mindfully. Don't just take your health passively. I mean, I think health is super important. I think health is like a kaleidoscope. It's not just exercise and eat. It's like stress, exercise, eat, sunlight, sleep, recovery. Um, have fun in life. Do something that makes life like joyful. Don't be so serious all the time. Um, and also, don't be ashamed of your body. You know, you have a body. Your body is a culmination of everything you've experienced to that point. So if you want to change that, change your experiences.